Hey guys, so it's Christine. We came out of last week in modalities and rehabilitation. We had our first exam on Tuesday. So this is just kind of a reflection about that exam, how I felt about it, what I did to study for it, and then kind of just a look ahead into the future and what I'm going to do to study or more prepare myself for the exams in the future. So that exam definitely was a lot harder than I was expecting it to be. I came out so nervous for it, and I felt like honestly really bad about how I did on it. I was immediately like, oh my god, I failed. My score actually popped up. It wasn't supposed to, but it popped up. So then I immediately did the math and was like, oh yeah, I got a B on this. Then I went and like kind of like calmed down. I was like, okay, wait. Some of this stuff I may have like misspelled the ones that were right in. She gives us points for that and little things like that that you could end up getting points for. I was like, okay, let me just sit down and be honest with myself. I don't feel as great as I probably should, but I think that I'll still come out with an A on it, just with the amount of like little questions that I know that I got right for sure that probably just weren't exactly worded correctly. Um, to study for it, I thought I was preparing enough. I was going back and like rereading the presentations just over and over and over and over again. I had a study guide on a Word document just with everything that Mrs. Neal, our professor, told us to study. I went through and it ended up being a 7-page Word document on what to study because I had each topic, and then I would go and write down every little thing that I knew about that topic and what I needed to know about that topic and just whatnot for the exam, and I studied off of that. One thing I do regret is that there were some things that I didn't quite understand what exactly was being asked, especially when it came down to like neurotransmitters and whatnot. I studied more of just the chemicals that modify pain, like the enkephalin and the endorphins, and I definitely didn't understand that correctly. So going into the future, if there's something that Miss Neal says that we need to know for the exam, and I start studying for it, and I realize that I don't know exactly what she's talking about, I'm gonna reach out and ask, because at this point, like, there were a bunch of questions about neurotransmitters on the exam that I was then kind of guessing on, or like hoping that I just looked at enough of the right stuff when I was just reading over the presentations in general that I could go like recall on and actually get the answer right. Looking forward to next exam. I know that the next exam isn't until October 30th. However, like, it's September 29th and I'm already going to start studying for it. Like, when we get done with the presentation that night or maybe the next day before the next class, I'll go back and I'm going to start going back and just reviewing it, and then also taking more time to like sit down and write out the presentations instead of just reading over them, because I know that's what helped me a lot in 212 when I had Mrs. Neal last. So I think that'll help me again in this class. For this year in general, I know it's a really hard semester for me, and I think that this class really kind of, I wasn't expecting it to be as hard as it was. Like, the exam had a lot of stuff on it that at least I'd covered before, and so I think that I just didn't really kind of prepare for it as much as I should. I was thinking, oh, I've had a lot of this stuff before. I can kind of fall back on at least having some of that knowledge in my head. And there were some questions that I could, but there were other questions that I was like, I know I've seen this before, and I've seen this not only in this class but a different class. I don't remember it. I can't pull this out of my head. Um, so I definitely thinking ahead, like, I'm just gonna have to study a lot more. I'm gonna really need to sit down and also get out of my room to study. Get somewhere where I'm not gonna have the distractions in there, or make sure I turn my phone on silent, because every time it buzzes and I was like, oh look, oh wait, what was I just studying? Because now I'm looking at my phone and I'm spending 5 minutes on my phone. Oh, and making sure that I don't have the TV on, I don't have music on, or just somewhere where I'm not going to get distracted, because I definitely got distracted. So just like an overall recap, like, felt nervous. I think I'm gonna end up coming with an A out of it. But it was just really like, not really, I don't want to say a slap in the face, but it was just like a light bulb for me that I'm gonna have to study a little bit more and a little bit harder. Probably a little bit more often than I normally do for this class, just because there's so much information, and it's so important to my major. Like, I want to be a physical therapist. I'm going to be using some of these modalities. I'm going to be using some of these rehabilitation techniques. So if I get this foundation now in this like intro class, when it comes to grad school, like, if I can remember some of this information, it's going to come a lot easier in grad school. So this class is really important, and I just think that I probably could have studied a little bit harder or started studying sooner, to be completely honest. So that's really the gist of it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If not, I'm sorry. Yeah, hope you all have a great day.